Hello there, I'm Scotty, you're not, and continuing on with Sequel-A-Thon 3. We are on CaddyShack II, which, much like Weekend at Bernie's 2, I heard was one of the worst sequels ever made. And again, I have to say, it's not as bad as people say. It's not as good as the first one, but I think that what surrounds this is the terrible production it had. Shortly after the first film became a hit, Rodney Dangerfield and producer John Peters, the guy who wanted a giant spider in the Superman Returns, decided they were going to do a follow-up, and Dangerfield was going to come back with the director of Back to School, Alan Metter. But eventually, there became issues with Dangerfield and the producers, and Dangerfield dropped off. He was the only one that was going to come back, although they did wrangle Chevy Chase into doing it while Dangerfield was still on the project. Harold Ramis was going to come back and write the film, and Bill Murray said no. Ted Knight had just passed away, and there wasn't much left to do with the film. And then Dangerfield left the project. Metter was fired, and so Peters told Ramis, "Hey, come on, we're gonna go to New York. We're gonna get Jackie Mason," which Harold Ramis told him, "Oh, please don't. Oh, don't do this," is what his thing was. I read this on Wikipedia. "Oh, don't do this." But they wanted to keep going with this idea. Chevy Chase is the only actor to return. There is the why does it do that? Hold on. Sorry about that. I'm simulating WWE 2K23, and the game will do this thing where the two competitors, or even more, whatever competitors, will go outside the ring and then just stand there doing this and won't do anything. So I had to take control of one of the guys, help me get him back in the ring. So anyway, so yeah, they brought in Jackie Mason to be the replacement for Rodney Dangerfield, and when you watch this, clearly it's just a replacement for Rodney Dangerfield. Ramis left the project and even wanted his name removed from the writing script, to which Peter said, "No, don't do that. You will ruin the film." Because obviously, of course, that would ruin the film. Not the fact that it's a CaddyShack sequel without most of the principal players. And I think my biggest issue with this is that there is a lot of retread in a way. You have Chevy Chase's Ty Webb. He's there just lounging around because Chevy Chase is just a glorified cameo. And then you have other characters. Jackie Mason is basically verbatim Rodney Dangerfield, but he's a different character. But it's basically the same character. He's making wisecracking jokes. He's hitting on women. He's doing stupid stuff. That sort of thing. And you have Robert Stack, who's basically Ted Knight's character from the first film. He's stuck up. He's rich. He doesn't like the comic relief guy. All that stuff. Jonathan Silverman, with the Weekend at Bernie's movies, basically is the Danny role. He's the caddy with a heart of gold. But there's less focus on the caddies in this film, unlike the first film, which is, what it was all about. There's sort of a romance subplot between him and Jackie Mason's daughter, but that's not the, Jackie Mason is the lead here. He's the main character. Well, Rodney Dangerfield was a side character in that film, making all the wisecracks, And then last but not least, the last replacement character is Dan Aykroyd replacing Bill Murray. And for some reason, apparently, one of the worst decisions ever made, Dan Aykroyd decided he wanted to do the voice. He wanted to do the role with a loud, high-pitched voice like this for the whole thing. Isn't it kind of annoying if I just stood here, did the whole review with this voice, and started talking about the rest of the movie? That's what he sounds like. As soon as I heard him, I'm like, oh, no, why? As I was doing my research, Dan Aykroyd insisted he do it with that voice. In the words of the great Tony Stark, not a great plan. Anyway, yeah. And so, the plot of this movie is that Jack Harmanian, Hardmanian, doesn't say. Jack Hardmanian is, he's got some money on him. He's not like filthy stinking rich. He's worked for a living. He does that stuff. He owns a construction yard, and this stuck-up woman, the wife of the guy who owns the country club, she is against doing this. She says like a national landmark type situation, and he ends up going to this club and having problems with her husband, which he later finds out is her husband, and there's like a lawsuit going on between if he can do the construction and departments and all that stuff. And Randy Quaid plays this lawyer, and then at one point this is flipped on its head when it turns out that Ty Webb has 54% stock in the company. So Jack buys out his stock. He now owns the club. He turns it into like an amusement park destination place, which, to be honest, looks a lot better than it did, and opens it to everybody, which actually could make them more money than if it was just an exclusive club. I'm just saying. But, of course, Robert Stack's character, Young, he treats this as the worst thing in the world. We can't have middle-class citizens in here. Only the rich, snobby, elite people, of course. And, as you would imagine, it ends with a game of golf, just like the first one. And, well, the breakout star of the first film was the animatronic gopher. So they decided, let's add more of that. He was spread out throughout the film in the first one, but it was very sparse, kind of like, the shark in Jaws. But here, oh my God, do we get a lot of it. Like, it steals a lady's root beer. It breaks into the club during dinner and eats some spaghetti. It's running around causing havoc. Like, Dan Aykroyd's character is not even hired to go after the gopher. He's hired to kill Jack. Yeah, Jackie Mason's character, Jack. I do like the gag, even though I saw it coming, where he's gonna blow up a car, and I'm like, it's gonna be Robert Stack's car, and it was, but I like that gag, And then it's during the golf game that he runs afoul of the gopher, and it's the gopher that ends up helping Jack win. And I feel like there should be a disqualification here, because Jack has to make a 50-foot putt, but Stack only has to make a 2-foot putt. Jack makes the putt, but when Stack goes to make the putt, the gopher switches out the regular ball for an explosive one. He just taps it, it explodes, and they declare Jack the winner. No. What you have to do is call a timeout, let him get, situated, and let him putt again. Or call a disqualification, because what should really happen here is that whoever's in charge of this thing should look at it and go, oh, well, that's sabotage. So, Jack, you're disqualified. Mr. Stack, you win. Mr. Young, you win. And, yeah, but no, we gotta have the happy ending, We gotta have that happy ending of he wins and gets to do that, he and his daughter make up because, look, the thing with his daughter is that she's hanging out with this Miffy, who is Robert Stack's daughter in this. And Miffy's clearly stuck-up rich bitch girl. And you're going through bar, and it don't matter anyway. But she still hangs out with anyway. And even though this guy, was it Todd, Robert Stack's son in this, she knows that this guy is suing her father, and she has a thing for Jonathan Silverman. She's still gonna hang around him. Like she had this whole flirtatious talk with Jonathan Silverman, and then he's like, "Hey, you want to go to this after party?" And then she's like, "Sorry, Jonathan Silverman, I'm going with him." And I'm like, "You just saw how stuck up this guy is and how big of an asshole he was to Jonathan Silverman. Hey, didn't I fire you? And you're gonna go with him?" This is all so we can lead to a split between the two, because she, for some reason, is not siding with her dad on this, even though he's clearly the good guy in this situation and he's the right guy in this situation. Where, you know, there's one point where they do this auction and he buys everyone in the auction and makes them work on his construction site to show them what it's like to actually break a sweat and do some work. I like that, but it's presented in a negative way through the top 1% people that are there. You know, it's treated in a negative way, like he's in the wrong, but he's not. You know, he's the good guy in this, and I don't know, maybe it's some kind of writing. At some point, he's treated like the good guy, and other points, he's treated like he's the bad guy. And this is one of the points where it's kind of like, oh, he did all this. Oh, you're so terrible. No, he did the right thing. He's showing these guys what it's like to make an honest living. You know? As someone who makes an honest living, cleaning toilets and sweeping and mopping floors and wiping shit down. Yeah. You know? Those rich, snobby-ass people who point their noses down and think that they're above everyone else. Well, I'm telling you, you're not shit. You know? Us people who work our asses off for a living, sweating, and breaking our backs, and doing the hard labor, we're the ones that build your stupid ass country clubs and mansions and all of that. And what do? You sit there, they're so below us. We're the heart of America, people. That's what we are. We are the ones that make America. If it wasn't for us, no, I'm not a construction worker, but if it wasn't for the people like us, the higher-ups, the one making all the buku bucks, the ones who sit in their fancy mansions, they wouldn't be able to do that, right? I'm just saying. Jack is 100% the good guy in this situation, and he has a great point, and I loved that scene. You know what I mean? But yeah, the whole daughter subplot, the daughter hating him subplot, doesn't really make any sense to me. They just have to have it so they can go back together in the end. I don't know. There's also this romance subplot between him and actress Diane Cannon, I think is the actress that plays this character. They have no chemistry. And there's some kind of flirtatious thing, but it doesn't really go anywhere. And it's implied they get together at the end, but I don't know. But the best thing in this is also one of the memorable things about the first one, and that's the theme song. Kenny Loggins is back, but instead of giving us alright, he gives us a song that's probably hits harder than that one. I probably like it better. I'm going all the way. I was listening to this and I'm like, man, I know it's Kenny Loggins. This is awesome. And I figured out what the song was. I watched the video on YouTube. They got a video on YouTube. And it makes me laugh because it says, "Nobody's Fool," and in quotes, "theme from CaddyShack II." And the music video has scenes from CaddyShack II, so that kind of ruined some of the stuff. I knew about the exploding ball. But I'm just like, and this movie tanked at the box office. It didn't make money. But they had a music video where they were really trying to promote this movie because they really wanted to put it out. It just shows that even bad movies, and they know I say this is a bad movie, it's not terrible. I'm giving it in the middle of the road. By the way, BT dubs. But even bad movies can have, you know, but I would say it's not as bad as people say. I put up The Weekend at Bernie's too, where they say, oh, they're terrible sequels, it's one of the worst. I have fun with them, you know, dancing Bernie, and then just like stupid shit in this. It's fun. I will point out that at one point I thought this was Brian Doyle Murray. That's Jackie Mason. Jackie Mason. I always thought it was Brian Doyle Murray. That's not. He produced this, I think. I guess not. I thought he had some kind of, I don't know. But yeah, Marshall Warfield has a cameo in this too, which I thought was kind of cool. But I remember her from Night Court. But yeah. So what are your thoughts on CaddyShack II? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Oh, one more thing I want to talk about is the aspect ratio. This is full screen, standard definition, standard version. There's no widescreen. It's one side. So this is like an early DVD release when they didn't have the option for widescreen, like back in the day before. Because these ones would often, I mean, looking at Bernie's here, have two-sided discs like that. But giving you but this, let's see, 1999 was this DVD release. Yeah, very early DVD release of this. Warner Brothers was using these cheap cases. Now they just have Eco Amaray cases with the. That's not one. Which one? I think this has one. Yeah, that's kind of like that. It has the thing, and then this one, like that. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. That one. So, yes, we're dwindling down. I still have two that I need to stream, but yes. So, thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm going all the way. Listen to that song. It's awesome.